My name is Olivier Gomez. People call me OG. I've been working in the automation and AI space for over 20 years, since the day where we didn't have any AI or we didn't call it automation. So I have a huge amount of experience in using technology, using AI and automation to target activity, processes, and functions, and to automate them in order to free up human, in order to redeploy human where we can have those human bring more value. So what I want to talk about today is what I would call a subset of the overall AI momentum that we see everywhere nowadays. And that subset is actually when we are adding up to the brain, to the AI, the legs and the arm, that is the automation. So conceptually, if you take a bot, a robot, and you have the brain and the leg, you end up having amazing capability at end. And when we look at where we are coming from with the automation, and when we start looking at how the market, how the ecosystem is starting to embed AI capability inside those automation solution, you start seeing, that the future is becoming really bright, right? So this is what I want to talk about today. We call it intelligent automation, and most of the Fortune 2000 nowadays are already engaged and already leveraging some of those technologies. And over the next 3, 4, 5 years, this is really going to become extremely critical. It's probably not just new shiny objects. It's probably going to be a matter of survival for companies. But I also want to talk about what it means for people, what it means for the overall civilization, because we see implications that are by far above and beyond just companies. We see implications that are going as far as saving lives. So what we see happening here when we look at how companies, how countries, how the society is using automation is that number one, the ecosystem of technology is growing at a very rapid rate, and it's not going to stop, right? So we see that the capability of the vision, being able to read, being able to understand, being able to digitalize is growing very rapidly with technology like OCR and intelligent document processing and all of that. We see that the capability of language, especially lately with all the Gen AI, so the chatbot, ChatGPT-like, but not just the OpenAI version, all the large language model is also growing rapidly. We see that the automation capability, the action, is also growing very rapidly with tools like RPA and very famous product that I'm not going to mention, becoming pervasive. It's all over the place. And it's very important to understand that those tools are going to keep coming. The ecosystem is going to keep growing. And what I want to say around tools and technology is that ultimately, and this is sometimes perceived as a provocative idea, technology does not really matter. And what I mean by that is that as we keep adding capability, as we keep adding feature, as we keep growing the ecosystem, what we are going to see here is that what's really important is not really the amount of technology available to us. It's actually the use cases that are going to be really critical. So what we see happening and what will, really grow over the next few years is the amount of use cases that we start to see around those technology. Okay. So nowadays, there's a number of basic things that we can do with AI and automation that are well understood. But as we start leveraging all those tools, all those technologies, as we start preparing the data to feed all those tools, all those technology, we see the amount of use cases growing very rapidly, right? I would say nowadays there's about 1,000+ use cases that are really well documented, that are covering, this intelligent automation space. So whether you are in a company and you are targeting to automate your finance department, your HR department, your help desk, your call center, whether you are in healthcare and you are trying to automate some of the diagnosis, whether you are in finance and you are trying to automate some of the transaction. The point being here is what we are going to see is that the amount of use cases available around those technology is going to grow rapidly, right? And the more we grow those use cases, the more we enable the ecosystem to be correctly utilized and to tackle activity that are done today by humans that are not very, let's say, are not done for human, right? So what I mean by that is when you look at all the activity that we are doing and that, number one, we don't like doing, so all the repetitive tasks, but also number two, where we are not really good at doing, for example, handling large amount of data, right? So repetitive tasks, creating a report, answering the phone, solving a request, a problem, but also when we look at doctors, their capability to effectively understand what's happening to my skin and detect potential skin cancer. We know that all those technology that are available are doing a better job than human, right? So I think this is going to be a very interesting next 3-4 years where we are going to see a lot of use cases in many areas that are going to be able to help humans to be redeployed to activity where they are much better than machine, right? So we know those skills that machines are not good at, and we know that we are going to have all the use cases that are going to be widely deployed, are going to free up resources that will be then used to go do more innovation, more artistic type of activity, and handle all the relationship that needs to be handled. So practically for a company, that means that I can have all my back-end operation automated using all those use cases, and I can use all my resources to interact with my client to drive more sales, to manage my account. It's going to be the same for healthcare. I use healthcare because that's the number one industry that will be impacted by AI, according to me. Doctors will be able to focus on things while technology is going to be utilized to effectively diagnose. So my point here is what I want you to remember and what I want you to come up with as a big picture is that, number one, the technology is not the important thing here. The technology and the ecosystem, the amount of tools, this is going to keep growing, but this is not important. What's important is the amount of use cases, how we use the technology and how we apply it. And we see that the amount of use cases that we are going to have available in a given industry or in a given company or in a given city, in a given country, is going to grow, and we are going to see hundreds of thousands of use cases. So that's really important because it's going to enable the technology to have an impact in a given area, right? So this is really the focus here. It's the use cases, not the technology. We don't want to fall in love with the tool. We want to focus on the expected outcome, the expected impact, and that is, through a well understood, well defined, well described use case. Number two, the human side here. So humans are going to be released. They are going to be freed up. They are going to be basically given an opportunity to stop doing all the repetitive, all the boring, all the activity that they might not be good at when processing, large amount of data. For example, this is something that human are not good at versus machine. We know that in the healthcare industry, for example, for detecting a skin cancer, machines are way better than doctors, right? So it will basically create all that time that will be utilized, all that bandwidth that will be utilized and redeploy in areas where human are way better, right? Human interaction. So in the case of a corporation, managing your client, managing your sales, managing your account. In the case of the healthcare industry, allowing the machine to do diagnosis and for you to manage, the people, and for you to basically do things where machines are not good, right? Last point is really important is I don't want people to consider that, it's human versus machine, right? We see examples, and this is going to become, like the norm in the future. We see example of collaborating with machine and interacting with machine and brainstorming with machine. And for example, in my case, on a daily basis, I am actually brainstorming together with AI to come up with new ideas, to validate new ideas, to get challenged by a different type of brain. So moving forward, this is going to become the norm, right? We will not be afraid of losing our job. We will welcome the idea of having someone doing something we don't like so we can do something that we're good at. And we are going to basically be augmented by those capabilities, right? So I hope this is giving you a picture of where we are going. If you have any other questions, whether it is related to the technology, whether it is related to the direction and the use cases, or the positioning of machine versus human, just let me know. I'm Olivier Gomez. I'm available for any question, and I'm available to spend a little bit of time with you guys and to answer any questions.